If your Urza deck needs more mana, you're a degenerate, but I love it, you should run Bleakmouth Urn. This 5-mana artifact is going to make you add a ton of mana equal to the number of artifacts you control at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, but that goes for everybody else too. If your coin flipping deck needs more coin flipping, run Bottle of Solomon. You can sacrifice this artifact, flip a coin, the opponent calls it. If you lose, you take 5. If you don't, you get a Djinn. If you want to toy with your opponents, run Liar's Pendulum. This card's going to allow you to name a card, then target opponent guesses whether or not that card's in your hand. If they guess wrong, you get a card, but if they guess right, you get nothing. If you're sick of Shieldred decks, run Omen Machine. This artifact's going to make it so players can't draw cards, and at the beginning of each player's draw step, they exile the top card of their library. If it's a land, they put it on the battlefield. If it's not, they cast it without paying its mana cost. If your playgroup hates Stasis, still play it, but run Sands of Time. This artifact's going to make it so each player skips his or her untap phase. At the beginning of each player's turn, they get to untap each tapped artifact, creature, or land, and tap everything else. If you're scared of losing your creatures during combat, grow up or run Divine Light. This 1-mana sorcery is going to prevent all damage that will be dealt to creatures you control. If you can't cast certain cards in your hand, build a better mana base or run False Dawn. This cantrip's going to make all colored mana symbols on permanents we control and cards in our hand white until end of turn. It might let us cast something. Who wants to turn their board into fresh cards? You know I do with Martyr's Cry. This 2-mana sorcery is going to make all white creatures get exiled, and then each player draws a card for each white creature they exiled. If you're sick of playing against black decks, run Order of the Sacred Torch. This 3-mana knight's going to let us pay 1 life to counter target black spell. They won't get to cast a single card. If you love politicking more than actual playing, this might not be the game for you, but you should run Spur Mage Advocate. This 1-mana 1/1 is going to allow you to tap it to return 2 target cards in an opponent's graveyard to his or her hand and destroy target attacking creature. Help your opponents knock each other out with Blood Frenzy. It's going to make that attacking creature huge, so opponent takes a ton of damage, then it destroys that creature so you don't get hurt. If your playgroup hates attacking, run Charging Cinderhorn. This elemental is going to make them attack, because if they don't attack, they're going to take damage, and the more times they don't attack, the more damage they're going to take. If you want to punish non-basic land players, run Mercadius Downfall. It's going to give all your attackers a huge boost based on the number of non-basic lands defending player controls. You'll probably knock them out. Punish Azorius players with Omen of Fire. This 5-mana instant is going to return all islands to their owner's hands, and then makes that player sacrifice a plains or a white permanent for each white permanent they control. They won't have a board, and you can probably knock them out. If your tiny little hands struggle to shuffle a 100-card commander deck, run Orcish Librarian. It's going to let you take the top 8 cards of your library and remove 4 of them at random from the game, so your deck gets a little bit thinner. If those overpowered green decks have you down, try Breath of Dreams. This 4-mana enchantment has a cumulative upkeep, which sucks, but it makes all green creatures have a cumulative upkeep. They can't keep their creatures as long as you keep paying. If your Esper graveyard deck needs some more gas, try Dreams of the Dead. This 4-mana enchantment lets you take white or black creatures out of your graveyard for just 2 mana. It does give them a cumulative upkeep, but who cares? If your combo deck needs some protection, try Dream Tides. It's a 4-mana enchantment that makes it so creatures don't untap. However, they can pay 2 to untap non-green creatures, but if you're green deck, you're stuck. Punish monocolor decks with Illusionary Terrain. This 2-mana enchantment is going to make it so their lands tap for whatever color you choose, and they can't use their lands. They don't get to play. If your opponent has a really nice land you've always wanted to play Shifting Borders. It's a 4-mana instant that lets you exchange control of 2 target lands. You can take their Gaia's Cradle and give them an island. If you hate green decks, make them cry with Bereavement. It's a 2-mana enchantment, and whenever a green creature is put into a graveyard in play, its controller discards a card. Take your graveyard deck to the next level with Decaying Soil. This enchantment is going to allow you to keep bringing back threats every time they hit the bin. They come to your hand, but you do have to remove cards from your graveyard. If you like playing the same creature over and over, I've got the card for you, Mortuary. This enchantment is going to allow it whenever a creature is put into our graveyard, we get to put that creature on top of our library to get it again. If you need an overrun effect in black, try Nocturnal Raid. It's overcosted, but all black creatures get +2/+0 until end of turn. That includes your opponent's creatures. 2-for-1s are just more fun. You can try that with Wicked Pact. This 3-mana sorcery is going to allow us to destroy any 2 non-black creatures, but we lose 5 life. I think it's worth it to get rid of 2 threats. If you hate attacking and blocking and want to win through combos, shame on you, but you can run Bubble Matrix. It's a 4-mana artifact that reduces all damage to creatures to 0. So, those attacks and blocks don't mean anything. Put your commander game on turbo mode with Infinite Hourglass. It's an anthem effect for all creatures, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you put a time counter and creatures get huge based on the number of time counters. Punish those Boros players with Noetic Scales. At the beginning of their upkeep, they're going to return each creature to their hand with power greater than the number of cards in their hand, and they won't have any cards. They're a Boros deck. Shut the green player down with Portcullis. If there are 2 more creatures in play, whenever another creature comes into play, it gets exiled. They're not going to have a board, and you won't either, but you're going to win some other way. Does your activated ability deck need some gas? Run Thran Turbine. During our upkeep, we get to add 2 colorless mana to our mana pool. We can't use it on spells, but we can use it for anything else. If you want your lands to do more than just make mana, try Chamber of Manipulation. You can tap a land, discard a card, and gain control of target creature until end of turn. I'm going to sacrifice their commander. If you want to make your opponent stress, try Fade Away. For each creature, that creature's controller pays 1 or sacrifices a permanent. Hopefully they can sacrifice their lands and keep their threats, and then we'll remove those threats with bounce spells. Do you always want to draw the best cards in your deck every time? Try Parallel Thoughts. This enchantment lets you tutor 7 cards, your best 7 cards, and you can draw those cards instead of cards from your deck. If you want to run Aether Flash in your blue deck, you can run Soul Barrier instead. It does the same exact thing, except for when they cast the creature, they take 2 unless they pay 2. They're never going to pay the 2. If you want to cause maximum confusion in your next Commander game, try Teferi's Realm. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses artifacts, creatures, lands, or non-aura enchantments, and all those cards phase out. Which card type are you phasing out? If you're a movie buff and a graveyard fan, try Dawn of the Dead. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may lose 1 life, but you get to return a creature card from your graveyard to play with haste, but you do exile at end of turn. What big threat are you bringing back? If you think small creatures shouldn't exist in a Commander game, try Deathmatch. For 4 mana, you get an enchantment, and whenever a creature comes into play, another creature gets -3/-3. All the small threats are gone. Sorry, Archfiend of Ifnir, I've got your father, Harbinger of Night. It's a 4 mana 2/3, and during our upkeep, each creature gets a -1/-1 counter placed on it. If you ever want to play hot potato while you play Commander, try Measure of Wickedness. It's a 4 mana enchantment. At the end of your turn, you sacrifice it and lose 8 life. Sounds terrible, but whenever a card's put into our graveyard, we give it to an opponent. If you want to run control magic in your black deck, try Ritual of the Machine. It's the same mana cost, and then you get a sack a creature to gain control of target non-black, non-artifact creature. I'm stealing your Commander. Move over, Sword of the Animist. I've got the original ramp permanent spell, one with nature. Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, you get a basic land, put it right onto battlefield tapped. You better put it on a creature with trample. Sorry, Lord of the Rings, the best orc came out of Ice Age. That's Orcish Lumberjack. It's a 1 mana 1/1 that lets you sacrifice the forest to basically Dark Ritual in red or green. Turn all the worthless cards in your hand into Rampant Growth with Silverglade Pathfinder. You pay the 2 mana, discard a card from your hand, and you get the Rampant Growth. I'm going to discard all my good draw spells. Next up, we have Hashaton's best card, Scourge Familiar. It's a 5 mana 3/2 with flying. Sounds terrible, but we get the discard cards that add black mana to our mana pool. What's better, a Tender Date or a Tender Wall? I think Tender Wall because you can sacrifice it to add 2 red mana to your mana pool. You can also sacrifice it to deal some damage. I care more about the ramp. Sorry, Painter's Servant, you're not that unique. We've got Celestial Dawn. For 3 mana, all our lands are plains, all our non-land cards are white, and you can spend white mana as though we're any color. Crack back without cracking back with Harsh Justice. This card's going to make it whenever you're attacked, those attacking creatures deal that much damage to their controller, so we might knock each other out. If Rakdos decks got you down, try Greater Realm of Preservation, a weird name for a 2 mana enchantment that prevents damage from black or red sources. You're not getting hurt unless they're playing green. Move over, Ghostly Prison. I've got the OG Island Sanctuary. For 2 mana, you can skip your draw step, and then only creature with a flying or island walk can attack you, and nobody plays island walk. Survive any attack as long as you have worship. For 4 mana, if you control a creature, damage that reduce your life total less than 1, reduces it to 1 instead. Those I win the game cards, this does nothing against. If you love mini games in your Commander game, try Game of Chaos. For 3 red mana, you and an opponent get to flip a coin, and then you gamble your life total and you keep doubling the stakes. How fun. If you hate board wipes that work every time, try Puppet's Verdict. For 3 mana, you flip a coin. If you win the flip, destroy all small creatures. If you lose, you destroy all big creatures. All the creatures are getting destroyed, maybe. If you want to lightning bolt everything all at once, try Radiate. For 5 mana, it lets you copy that spell and choose every target you can target with it. That's going to be exciting and a board wipe. Move over, Show and Tell. I've got a card that doesn't always work. Stronghold Gambit. For 2 mana, each player reveals a creature card and the weakest creature comes into play. I might sneak it in the Land of War Elves. If your opponent has a big board and you have no board, try Twist Allegiance. For 7 mana, you and that opponent switch boards, and if they have a lot and you have none, you can win the game right there. Move over, Azuri's Predation. There's a green 2 mana board wipe. That's Ballroom Brawl. This card's going to let you fight another creature, then that opponent copies the spell, and then keep copying it, and there'll be no board left. Move over, Exploration. I have the original. Gaia's Touch. For 2 green mana, you can play an extra forest each turn, and then you can sacrifice this for a mana burst. Turn dragons into lizards with Gravity Well. For 3 mana, and whenever a creature with flying attacks, it loses flying. No more reach required. If you hate lands, run Kudzu. For 3 green mana, it enchants a land, and whenever enchanted land becomes tapped, you destroy it, and then that land's controller can move it to another land. There'll be no lands in play. What a great game. Does your graveyard deck need better recursion? Try Nostalgic Dreams. For 2 green mana, you can discard as many cards as you want, and then replace them with the best cards in your graveyard. What are you bringing back? That's why you should play these.